You're watching CBT News official coverage of the New York Automotive Forum hosted by NADA, JD Power, and New York International Auto Show.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. I'm on location in New York for the New York Auto Forum, hosted by NADA, JD Power and Associates, and the International Auto Show here in New York. I'm joined by David Spisak. I know you know this gentleman. He's been all over automotive. And I'm also joined by Brodie Cobb, who's the CEO of Presidio. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining me on the show.
Pleasure to be with you.
Sure. So we are, as I mentioned, at the JD Power Automotive Forum. If we hear AI and we hear tech and we hear all of these things, it's just the dealers are walking out of here going, oh my gosh, it's more tech. That's the future of the industry, is it not?
I think so.
Yeah. It's okay, yeah. Keep going.
It's going.
It's going. You're good.
Yeah. No, I think so, Jim. It's just it was a slow start a number of years ago when sort of overzealous entrepreneurs would kind of, get out over their skis a little bit too much and promise things that weren't quite ready or hadn't been built. And
Sure.
dealers, they expect it to work, right away when it's plugged in and ready to go. And that's been one of the problems historically, but today we think it's much better. We think the platforms of technology are better. And I turn to my friend David because he helps me understand a lot of this stuff.
Sure.
But but if it's harnessed the right way, it can really translate into higher percentage of profitability.
Sure.
Hopefully, if it touches a customer, a stickier, happier customer.
That's right.
And so it is the right way to go. It's just figuring out exactly how to do it.
That's right. That's right. And dealers today, David, need the right partners in order to make that really work at the dealership level, right? Because they're not tech scientists. They're car dealers.
It's 100% true. And, I think dealers are amazing, we know, in so many ways, right? We oftentimes talk about the resilience. No matter what we get hit with externally, they figure out a way. Dealers are also, they've become so much more sophisticated on tech over the last 5 or 10 years because, frankly, they've had to. And, in the 90s, if you remember, we had the first thing that came along really was CRMs. We had the DMS CRM.
Yeah, that's right.
We sit here today and in New Orleans, you could walk 1 mile, hit 2,300 booths, over 4,000 solutions.
Yeah.
You better start figuring it out.
That's right. That's
And so, in fact, you got dealers that are, I believe, part of the investment, right, and your funds, that they have that level of knowledge and they're savvy enough, sophisticated enough, that they want to actually start being co-architects or at least have a voice at the table.
Yeah.
And you brought up something critically important, Jim. There's lots of products, but they don't want products. They want solutions, and the solutions have to be represented with partners. You got to have great partners that are going to allow you to understand how to leverage, how to get adoption. And I think you've got to get to the point of addiction, right? Because we've gotten to the point to where the average dealer may have 12, 15 different solutions.
That's right.
They all tell me the same thing. David, I'm so tired of writing 15 checks to 15 people, dealing with 15 support people, 15 training. And we are getting to the point now to where we just now are starting to move in a direction where we get a lot more meaningful solutions, Jim. And we are starting to see actually some vendors work together in a way we haven't seen before, which is cool.
And I think that's probably because the dealers have demanded that.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, even through lawsuits that we've seen.
Yes.
I mean, they've said enough is enough. These people have got to be integratable with our systems and our stores, right?
And that brings up a whole other point. We're the only industry I'm aware of that has a closed API system. And as somebody who has developed tech over the last 20 years, that's a real hurdle. It's a real obstacle. We don't make it easy to develop tech. So now we're starting to get more dealers that get more engaged, and they are demanding.
Right.
Yeah, and it's good.
Brodie, we hear so much about AI playing a role in today's dealerships. Talk to us about that and the importance of bringing the right technologies that include AI into the dealerships.
Well, the dealership business is perfect for AI because it's just repetitive over and over, and there's 18 or 20,000 folks doing sort of the same thing every day. Yeah. So, and the way it works is it learns from data, and the cleaner and the more consistent that data is, the more valuable it is. It's perfect for the car business. It's just a matter of it's relatively new. and it's a matter of implementing it, across a lot of solutions, over time, I would say, with again, just the right kind of data.
Sure.
And dealers aren't going to have their own in-house AI businesses, right? So they have to subscribe to some kind of solution that harnesses AI, and then, as David said, connects with other solutions that are providing that data.
Yeah, for sure. David, talk to us about this, because dealers feel as though they're looking for different packages and solutions. As you mentioned, everyone's throwing AI around at them. Every single, like you said, you walk down that 1 mile corridor at NADA and it's AI. Are they going to replace salespeople and service technicians? And are we going to walk into the dealership of the future and there'll be 3 people operating the store?
It's such a great question and an important question. I actually joked at Dallas and again at Vegas that it should be called NADA.ai. I almost feel like I'm going, hey, I'm David.ai. Do you want to go grab coffee at the cafe.ai? Everything, I said it was AI ad nauseum. It's just like enough.
No question.
And anybody, it's interesting. I think anybody like Brodie, or Bill Karras, anybody in the investment community out there, anybody that deals who is private equity or venture capital, if you're a company and the first thing you talk about was AI, they're like, next, see ya. Yeah. Because you better be a great company with a great solution that is enhanced with AI.
That's right.
And there's a lot of AI out there that frankly simply cannot get the job done.
Yeah.
And you're going to get overpromised yet again, and they're going to get under-delivered. So here's the thing, guys. First of all, you have to know what kind of AI it is, what's the source of data, how long has it been out there, and you can't expect it to replace a human, right? It can't create a relationship, it can't nurture a relationship, it has no ethics, it has no loyalty, it has no morals, right? So everything is Brodie correctly pointed out, is based on your data.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things we have to do is start out by having all dealers, really, we've got to get focused on having clean data in our stores. Yeah. It is the proverbial garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
Secondly, I think AI works brilliantly when you have redundant operations. For example, WarCloud, brilliant. Okay, that company is a brilliant company. You got Stella out there, she's been doing AI for 20 years, longer than anybody's been talking about AI, Jocelyn. And so you have some really meaningful AI out there, but it typically is attacking workflow. It's creating efficiencies. It's augmenting what your people do to allow them to go from here to here in productivity and efficiency. I don't see it. Is it going to replace some people? Sure, it's got the potential in some cases, but that's not really what AI is as far as an intention.
Sure.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit before I let you go, and I appreciate all the time you've given me. What's your outlook for 2025 in the auto industry?
Well, so are we going to talk about the tariff thing? Or?
You brought up the tariff
I thought
thing.
the only T word was tech.
I just said, what's the outlook? Do you think we'll finish strong? Think we'll be okay?
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think especially dealers will be okay. If we have lower supply, that has tended to be very kind to them historically.
Yeah.
A little tougher on the consumer, and probably okay on the OE. So I think we're in a global negotiation right now, and I'm not sure that it's going to linger on forever. And I
think we'll come up with a solution.
I think we will.
Yeah. How about you, David? What do you think?
I agree. I think it's interesting. As we're at this great event with some really brilliant people. I'm listening to some wonderful speakers, including you guys, and nobody really is talking T-word. You've had a couple of the economists, of course, they've got to drop the T-word out there, but they've got to throw that in the mix. But I think, honestly, there's a lot of optimism that's reasonable optimism. I always say there's a problem when it's irrational optimism, but I think there's a lot of reasonable optimism here based on the reality that we've already seen that this very much appears to be negotiating at its in its highest form. Right? We're already talking about today. They're talking about dropping parts from the equation. Last week it was iPhones. Last week before it was this. So I think that we're going to find, and Bernie Moreno, said it perfectly. I think this is just basically, if you're an old school car person, this is first pencil.
It's a Foursquare.
Right? It's
I
a
think he called it a
Foursquare.
Foursquare.
He literally said, we Foursquared it. We're going to wait for them to bounce off the ceiling. Everything's going to turn out fine. Right? They're going to get the car. We're going to sell the car. Everybody's going to go home happy. So I think there's a lot. I think people are sometimes giving way too much energy to something that we're not going to be. I mean, how many times have you seen this? Right? Autonomous is going to ruin things. Uber is going to ruin new cars. And you end up with all the conversation, and you wake up and you go, I guess we're in the same place.
Millennials don't want cars. They're going to take bicycles. Or,
so everything's going to be okay.
That's right.
Yes, we're going to be good. Better than
Brodie
okay.
Cobb and David Spisak, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Hey, thanks for having us. We appreciate you, Jim. Thanks for all you do.
Absolutely.